After your girlfriend goes bankrupt, you have no choice but to move into a basement apartment with her. Used to living in a mansion, you refuse to accept this miserable life, and you take it out on her every single day, screaming that she's worthless. You even think about selling her off for cash. But later you find out the truth. Your girlfriend is actually the hidden princess of Beijing's elite, lost and living in secret. The moment her family finds her, the very first thing she does is have you, the villain boyfriend, thrown into a remote mountain ditch to feed pigs. You die there, reeking in a pigsty. You do not want to feed pigs. You definitely do not want to die like that. But right now you have already spent months hurling abuse at the broke female lead. The villain meter is completely maxed out. You pace frantically around the room. What do you do? What do you do? Your death sentence is coming this fast. Then the bedroom door handle suddenly turns. Lena left for work, but now she's back. Evan, I'll get you. She furrows her brow, clearly a little nervous, like she's asking for your approval. You look up. You freeze completely. The woman stands nearly 6 feet tall with thin lips and sharp, upswept eyes. Those long, narrow eyes carry an edge of cold intensity. She thinks you're still angry, so she hurries to explain. A Musang King durian costs 600 yuan. I want to save up a bit more, so we can move somewhere better. God knows she pushes herself to the limit at work every single day. Late at night, she works a second job as a cashier at the supermarket, and she still won't spend money on a proper meal. How are you supposed to keep yelling at her? You backpedal fast. Actually, I don't want durian anymore. I want strawberries. Lena blinks, caught off guard. She remembers you never liked strawberries. You scramble to cover it up. Just felt like trying something different. She goes quiet for a long moment before she finally agrees. But what you don't know is that the moment she closes the door, she leans back against it, her eyes full of suspicion and scrutiny. A thought explodes through her mind. He suddenly stopped making a scene. Has he finally had enough? Is he about to leave her for good? By evening, Lena practically sprints home. She bursts through the door with a bag of fruit and rushes straight to your room. But when she turns the handle and pushes it open, the room is empty. Her breath catches. She slumps against the doorframe. Her only anchor, that last small light, has gone out. Just as despair swallows her whole, your voice cuts through from right behind her. Lena, laundry's done. Go shower. Lena's whole body goes rigid. She spins around, eyes wide with disbelief. You didn't leave. You look genuinely puzzled. Leave? Go where? I'm not working today. She looks like 1,000 pounds just lifted off her shoulders. She waves you in to hang up the laundry. But the moment you turn around, your eyes land on the table. Sitting right there is a massive durian and a box of bright red strawberries. The label is unmistakable. It's the 600 yuan Musang King. She's so broke she's living in a basement, and she still spent this much on fruit for you? You swallow despite yourself. Didn't we agree you'd only get strawberries? Then we skip rent. Lena says it like it's nothing. It's fine. I'll just work 2 extra hours a day. Your stomach drops. Last night she lost 2 hours of sleep because of your yelling. And now today she's going to grind even harder for a durian. You watch her heading for the door. This woman who once stood on top of the world, life has bent her low. You grit your teeth, grab the durian off the table, and run back to the fruit stand. You beg the vendor. My girlfriend just bought this. Can I return it? We genuinely can't make rent. After a lot of pleading, the vendor finally gives you 580 yuan back. You clutch the cash and walk past an art supply store, and suddenly an idea flashes through your mind. You went to art school. You could totally set up on the pedestrian bridge and sell portrait sketches. The sooner you get out of this place, the better. As for leaving Lena behind, that thought never even crosses your mind. Abandoning the female lead is also a death sentence. You have to lay low and survive until she meets her fated lover. Only then can you exit the story safely. At 2 in the morning, Lena finally drags herself home, completely exhausted. But the moment she pushes open the door, she freezes. A dim little night lamp glows on the table. Beneath the light, something is pinned down, a note and a flower. You said you didn't want it, but you still bought it. I returned it for 580 yuan. I spent some on a drawing board. The rest of the money is right here. Don't waste money like that again. You've deliberately copied the original Soul's bossy tone, but that last line sounds less like a threat and more like a pouty golden retriever with a stepped-on tail. 0 intimidation factor. Do you think it over and scribble one more line at the bottom of the note? Also, no more coming home so late. Be back by 10. Lena suddenly feels, thank goodness it's you who stayed. Any other man would have been long gone. She switches off the lamp and quietly lies down beside you. The next morning, you're focused on drawing in the room, while Lena bustles around in the kitchen. Rich, savory smells drift through the entire apartment. Your stomach growls. Who could have imagined the princess who once never lifted a finger in the kitchen has been pushed by you into becoming a full-blown master chef? You have to admit, a genius excels at everything she tries. You sneak into the kitchen with your brush still in hand. Lena, what smells so good? She slides a plate of egg fried rice in front of you. Try it. How is it? You scoop up a mouthful. Your eyes light up instantly. This is incredible. Lena, with skills like this, you could work at a 5-star hotel as the head chef. But Lena's brow pinches, and out of nowhere she asks, didn't you always say my cooking was terrible? Your heart skips a beat. You scramble to cover. I meant compared to the chef at the old mansion, it was a little off, but now you're way past that. Lena is clearly not so easy to fool. Her sharp gaze locks onto you. You've been acting strange these past 2 days. The way you talk, she stops mid-sentence like she's second-guessing herself. Your heart leaps into your throat. You're about to be caught. You drop the spoon into the plate and plant both hands on your hips. I give you one compliment and you can't handle it? Do you need me screaming at you every day to feel normal? Lena stares at your completely harmless display, like watching a cat that's just had its tail stepped on. That won't be necessary. Her eyes go dark, and she's the first one to look away. After the meal, Lena dutifully washes the dishes. When she comes back out, she finds you messing around with your sketchbook. She assumes you're just killing time. I'm heading to work, she tosses out casually. Got it, see you at 10. New house rule, no coming home late. You don't even look up. Lena's footsteps pause. She thinks of the words on the note and quietly nods. The second she steps out the door, you slip out right behind her. Drawing board tucked under your arm. You pick a shaded underground walkway and set up your easel next to a watermelon stand. On a piece of cardboard, you scrawl in bold strokes. Sketch portrait, 10 minutes, 10 yuan. A young couple walking by stops immediately. The girl looks curious. How much for 2 people? You smile so wide your eyes curve into crescents. First customer of the day, still just 10. 20 minutes later, the couple walks away with their portrait, completely satisfied. You stare at your phone, 10 yuan received. You're so excited you almost launch off the ground. The watermelon vendor beside you chuckles and leans over. First time setting up a stall, huh? Ha! You've got a sharp eye, I only brought 1 stool. Still in school? You hesitate for a moment, then shake your head. No, I just draw for fun. You can't exactly reveal your real identity. The vendor studies your work with growing amazement. This looks just like a photograph. You smile casually. Maybe I'm just naturally gifted. By 9 in the morning, the rush of commuters flows through. Your little stall is fast and cheap, and you quickly book 2 appointments for the next day. You nod and confirm them, but inside you're quietly worried they'll stand you up. But right at that moment, Lena happens to walk through the same underpass and spots you instantly. The next second, a little kid who just got out of school snatches a drawing right out of your hands. Hey, that's mine! You jump to your feet. The boy grabs the drawing and bolts. In seconds, he's already far ahead. His mother keeps her head down, scrolling on her phone, completely ignoring him. But just as the boy reaches the end of the walkway, he slams face first into a wall of a person. Lena stands like a cold, unmovable statue, blocking his path. Her red lips part slightly. Her voice drops to ice. You mess with what's mine. The boy lets out a wail. Mommy, there's a dinosaur. The dinosaur's going to eat me. You catch up just in time to hear that. A dinosaur? You burst out laughing. From a little kid's perspective, Lena really is towering enough to pass for one. But Lena is in no mood for jokes. She reaches her hand straight toward the boy. The kid is scared out of his wits and immediately shoves the drawing back. He apologizes through tears. Only then does Lena hand the drawing back to you and asks, as if it's nothing, what are you doing here? Ha! Setting up a stall selling drawings to make money. Before she can respond, you spin around and jog back to your spot and get back to sketching a portrait of an elderly woman. Lena stands a little distance away, watching you in silence. You work with your head down, each stroke smooth and fluid, every line confident and decisive, not a single wasted mark. When you finish, the old woman hands you 10 yuan and happily tells you the portrait made her look 10 years younger. You were already young, ma'am. After she leaves with a smile, you start packing up and a pair of long legs steps right in front of you. Without looking up, you say, 10 yuan, 10 minutes. You stop mid-sentence. You look up sharply. Lena, why are you still here? If you'd known she worked nearby, you never would have set up here. Lena looks down at you, her tone completely flat. I went across the street to pick up lunch for a coworker. Her gaze drifts to your drawing board. You can do this? Your mind kicks into gear and you immediately slip back into villain boyfriend mode. Oh, surprised. I'm pretty impressive. I can make real money on my own. Lena's expression gives nothing away. It makes your skin crawl. You scramble to your feet and keep up the act. I made 40 yuan today. Fully booked tomorrow. Not like you. Totally useless. By the end, your voice trails off on its own. Lena doesn't even flinch. She just gives a quiet, what do you want? You blink, suddenly remembering you implied you were saving up for something. You rack your brain and finally land on that classic line, I'd rather cry in a BMW than smile on the back of your bicycle. Lena goes silent for a long moment. She comes back with just 2 words, got it. Then she turns and walks away. You watch her go. Your heart is all over the place. She must be furious. But before long, Lena comes back. Without a single word, she sets down a lunchbox and leaves. You open it and your jaw drops. 3 meat dishes, 1 vegetable. Since when does her company serve food this good? The watermelon vendor beside you grins and calls you out. She bought that separately just for you. From what I saw, all she had for herself was a plain veggie box. The vendor takes a bite of his steamed bun and asks, that girl treats you so well. Why do you talk to her like that? You let out a heavy sigh. I know. I'm a complete jerk. After packing up, you head straight to your next job at the supermarket. You work as a stock loader until 9 at night. Back home, you sit at the table and start drawing again. When the lock clicks and Lena walks in, your mind goes blank. Right, you're the one who made the 10 o'clock rule. How is it 10 already? It slips out before you can stop it and you immediately want to slap yourself. That sounded like you're annoyed she came home too early. But Lena just says flatly, work was slow today. I'll shower first. You put your head back down and keep drawing. By the time you power through over a dozen sketches, you finally notice Lena is already sitting on the bed, reading. She doesn't have money for a phone. Her whole paycheck goes into the shared account, so her only entertainment is borrowing books from the library. The silence feels a little awkward, so you toss out a question. What are you reading? Lena doesn't look up. Poor Charlie's Almanac. You freeze solid. Did you actually drive this woman to start studying how to get rich? You awkwardly climb into bed and quietly tally up what's left in the account. Lena mentioned rent is almost due. Once you pay, you'll be back to 0. But then Lena sets her book down. Her sharp eyes fix on you. Your drawing skills are very polished. When did you learn? You dodge with a counter question. I haven't even asked you yet. How does someone fresh out of school build a company worth 30 billion? Her voice stays perfectly even. I studied finance. You have no comeback for that. Then how come none of your classmates pulled that off? Lena's eyebrow arches slightly. None of them went bankrupt this completely either. You're completely out of words. Her bankruptcy really is brutal. Spending restrictions, all bank accounts frozen, her paycheck forced to go into your account because otherwise it gets seized the moment it lands. Your heart softens and you stumble through an attempt to comfort her. You've got so much ahead of you. You'll make your comeback, I'm sure of it. You look at her exhausted face, remembering she passed the fish market at lunch. You ask, is your workplace nearby? Lena shakes her head. Not really. It's a 3-kilometer walk home. What if I get you a bicycle? You barely finish the sentence before Lena's expression completely shuts down. She stares at you and says absolutely nothing. You know exactly exactly what she's thinking about, that line you said. You'd rather cry in a BMW than ride on the back of a bicycle. The next second she throws her book down, stands up and kills the light. The whole room goes black. You ask quietly, "You didn't answer me. Tomorrow I'll help you pick one out." In the darkness, Lena's voice is as cold as ice. "Rent is due tomorrow. Then after rent I'll draw more. I'll definitely get it for you this month." But she just says flatly, "Don't bother. Sleep." The next day, you really are too broke to afford even a bicycle. But you still head out with your drawing board on your back. You grind through the whole morning and rake in just as you're about to pack up. A stunning girl with pink-dyed hair appears out of nowhere. When she smiles, two little fangs peek out. "Can you draw me?" You shake your head apologetically. "I have something on this afternoon, maybe tomorrow?" The pink-haired girl nods, with a smile. "Then I'll be your first customer tomorrow. My name is Bianca Bai. I'm a junior at the Central Academy of Fine Arts next door." Your jaw nearly hits the ground. "You go to the Central Academy? Then why are you coming to me?" Bianca gives you a little wink. Her voice is soft enough to melt. "I love your style." She doesn't just compliment you, she actually helps you pack up your board. Getting praise from a top fine art student leaves you genuinely flattered. You two hit it off immediately, talking like old friends who just found each other. But neither of you notices. Not far away, a woman has her eyes locked on the two of you. Her red lips are pressed tight. Her brow is knotted. The orange in her hand is being squeezed so hard that juice runs down her fingers. You watch helplessly as Lena hurls the crushed orange into the trash. Back home, she is wildly off today. The moment she's in the door, she starts rummaging through everything, making so much noise you can't focus on drawing at all. You can't take it anymore. "What are you looking for?" Lena's eyes are dark as ink. She looks at you and says, "I'm washing everything in the wardrobe. Don't want anything getting mold." But she's barely gone before she calls out from the bathroom, "Evan, you've hit your limit." "Now what, Ms. Liu?" But Lena just climbs into bed in silence and pretends to read. Now you're the one who's annoyed. You glance at the time, it's already 11, all because of her. You tell her to stop reading. Lena's dark eyes are unreadable. "Fine, I won't." You push harder. "What is wrong with you today? Did you suddenly develop a restlessness disorder?" But she says nothing. She just stares straight at your lips. You lean in a little closer. "Stop playing dumb." The closeness presses down on her. Her breathing goes unsteady, and just when you think you've pushed far enough and are about to back off, Lena suddenly speaks. "Keep drawing. I'm going to get some water." The words are barely out before she throws back the covers and gets up. She's out the door before you can blink. You're genuinely baffled. Who goes out in the middle of the night for water? You can't make sense of it, so you don't even try. You just go back to drawing. Money is what matters most anyway. But you've barely put down a few strokes when a drop of water appears on the paper out of nowhere. You look up instinctively at the ceiling. A line of glistening droplets clings to it. Oh no, the upstairs unit is leaking. You scramble to protect your drawings, then rush to the bathroom, grab a basin and put it on the table to catch the drips. You put on your shoes and pound up the stairs, banging on the door and shouting, "Is anyone home? You're flooding us!" You knock for what feels like forever. The neighbors on either side wake up, but from upstairs, not a sound. A neighbor pokes their head out and tells you, "Looks like no one's been home up there for days. You should call building management." You pull out your phone and dial right away. "Hello, I'm in unit B101. The apartment above mine is leaking, and no one seems to be home up there. Can someone come check?" "How much water are we talking?" You're panicking. It started as just a few drops, but it's getting worse. "I think a pipe might have burst up there. If this keeps up, the whole place is going to flood." The building manager's voice stays completely unbothered. "Fine, I'll try calling that unit." You hang up and run back downstairs. Sure enough, when you get back, the leak is worse, spreading across the floor. You grab another basin from the bathroom to catch more drips. It's been 20 minutes since the call, and nothing has happened. You call again. "Were you able to reach the residents upstairs?" The building manager replies, coldly, "Can't get through." You've never in your life dealt with anything this infuriating. You're doing everything you can to fix this, and yet the problems just keep piling up. And Lena, who went out for water, still hasn't come back. You think to call her for help, and then you remember, Lena doesn't have a phone. What era is this? Unbelievable. More than a bicycle, what Lena really needs is a phone. The upstairs tenant is unreachable. Building management is useless. You're completely out of options. All you can do is move things away from the leaking spots, and just then a blinding white flash tears across the window. The whole night turns white for a split second. The thunder that follows feels like it could split the sky open. Your breathing goes ragged. A memory surges up. A typhoon, lightning crashing outside a floor-to-ceiling window, and 7-year-old you, curled up helplessly in bed crying. Your parents were always busy. They traveled all over the country for work, leaving you alone in an empty house. The sky was so dark back then, the thunder so loud, that old fear rips through you in an instant, and you curl up into the corner of the bed. Meanwhile, Lena has just bought the cheapest cold water bottle she could find. She sits alone on an outdoor exercise machine, head down, taking slow sips. Beijing at this hour is pitch black, a world of towers and shadows, and she feels so small she can barely breathe. You know her background. She grew up poor. Her father died young. Her mother and grandfather worked hard to keep the family going. Evan, the original soul, was a top-scoring science prodigy in the National College entrance exam. Every teacher who ever taught him called him their greatest pride. He went on to Peking University, where the best gathered, and he still shone the brightest. He was the center of everyone's attention. Word was that in his second year, he co-founded a startup with a classmate, staying up all night writing code and running operations, grinding the company up to 100 billion yuan valuation. But then, no one knows why the company suddenly came under attack. He went down hard and walked away buried in debt. That meteoric rise was killed dead. Lena has wondered if he crossed the wrong person, but all the major players in the industry had backed him. There was no reason for them to take him down, but you're certain those sudden attacks were aimed specifically at him. Lena has no idea who the enemy is. Right now he has nothing. Chasing the truth is out of the question. She takes another sip of cold water, feeling the chill slide down her throat. Maybe it'll help her think more clearly. After the bankruptcy, he's rarely had a moment alone like this. Except when asleep, you're always pushing him to work and earn more, or bossing him around with chores. Lately though, you've been quieter. You found side work on your own. He's probably noticed how, Strange your attitude has been. Like you're getting ready to leave. Lena must be thinking about what she saw at noon again, you and that girl in the pink outfit, laughing and chatting so easily, your smile probably more genuine than anything she ever gets from you. She must grip her water bottle tighter, the plastic warping under her grip, the remaining water spilling over, soaking her hand. She refuses to admit to herself what she's feeling. You know she's both hurt and defeated. When thunder finally tears through the sky, the woman snaps her head up and hurries home. You left the living room light on. When Lena opens the bedroom door, what she sees is you, curled up in the corner of the bed, face drained white, completely overtaken by fear. She crosses to the bed quickly. She pats your shoulder. Evan, what's wrong? What happened? The apartment is leaking, no one upstairs, and management won't do anything. Lena spots the two basins on the table, but she clearly doesn't think the leak is the real problem here. The real problem is the rain hammering the window, and the thunder rolling in again and again. She tests the water carefully. You're scared of thunder? You hesitate, checking that she won't suspect anything, and then nods carefully. Lena holds your gaze for a long moment, then takes your phone and calls building management again, trying to deal with the leak first. This time the response is even more dismissive. It's pouring in the middle of the night. How am I supposed to get there? And even if I did, there's nothing I can do. I can't pick locks. Lena swears under her breath and hangs up, then dials the emergency line. Plumbing issues fall under building management. We can only coordinate. Given the hour and the weather, maybe check into a hotel for the night? You watch Lena take a slow, deep breath, like she's forcing herself to accept the reality of being broke. The dripping's picking up, but until tomorrow when the locksmith arrives, we won't actually flood. Lena must have noticed the water on the floor. You already cleaned it up. You figure she's probably surprised. Then she shoves everything that was close to the floor under the bed, packing it tight so it won't get wet. The drops hitting the basin are loud. She grabs two sweaters and lays them in the basin. With the fabric to absorb the impact, the noise drops significantly. The locksmith comes at 8 tomorrow. Let's sleep. It's almost midnight. You barely have a second to exhale before another bolt of lightning splits the sky outside. You know the thunder is coming. You feel like a prisoner waiting for the axe to fall. And then, boom, a blast of thunder louder than before tears through the air, and suddenly, you're pulled into a warm embrace. Her cool, clean scent wraps around you completely. Don't be scared. I'm here. You used to lie awake through so many storms, wishing your parents would somehow come home and hold you, but that wish never came true. And now the one giving you that warmth is a fictional character, the female lead of a novel, someone who was never meant to be yours. But this warmth is so rare you can't bring yourself to pull away. The next morning, the locksmith arrives. With building management there to witness, they pry open the upstairs door and find that the problem is not a burst pipe. The upstairs tenant had simply left the tap turned on when they left. Water overflowed from the sink, flooding their entire floor. You want to track down the building's architect and ask what they were thinking. Did they really design the layout so that any couple staying here would have zero privacy? The shower turns on. Lena is in the bathroom. You sit on the bed with your back to her, clutching your drawing board and muttering to yourself, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. I am not a pervert. I truly am not. Why did you stop drawing? Lena's voice comes from right above you. You snap your eyes open. A breathtaking face fills your entire vision. Perfect proportions, a straight and delicate nose, cool eyes like still water. So beautiful your heart skips a full beat. How is this face even allowed to exist? What kind of author writes someone like this? No wonder the male lead would lose his mind over her. Even a complete stranger would stop and stare. As for drawing, I hit a wall. Lena glances at the landscape in your hand and offers a suggestion. Then draw something different. Not everyone wants a landscape. You nod, and Bianca's face suddenly pops into your head. The one you stood up. Bianca is the type whose face doesn't stir anything complicated in you. In fact, looking at her actually calms you down. Decision made, you'll draw her. That way you'll have something to hand over when you see her tomorrow at the stall. Lena comes over carrying her book, clearly planning to read in bed until she glances over and sees a woman's facial outline you've just sketched. The face shape, the hair, it looks just like the girl in the pink outfit from yesterday. Lena's expression goes dark immediately. She told you to stop drawing landscapes and you immediately switch to drawing another woman. Lena almost laughs from the sheer frustration of it, but getting angry over a sketch would make her look petty, so she keeps her expression controlled and walks over, pretending it's nothing. Which celebrity are you drawing? She's already handed you a way out. If you just play along, Lena is probably telling herself right now that she's the most understanding, thoughtful girlfriend in the world. Who could have known you wouldn't even look up before answering? It's a client of mine. We had an appointment this morning and I stood her up. The story goes completely off her script. Lena's voice comes out a little strange. How dedicated of you, keeping clients in mind like that. Must really memorize their faces. You put your head back down and keep drawing. Lena's expression sinks further. She looks like she's calculating how to politely tear that paper in half without setting you off. And just at that moment you suddenly blurt out, "Oh, I can't remember exactly what she looks like. Does she have those upturned eyes?" Lena's clenched fist unclenches. The anger drains right out of her. She's just someone whose face you can't even remember. What's there to be jealous of? Lena plays it magnanimous. You might run into her again sometime. Draw her in person then. You nod and agree. You tuck away the unfinished sketch and switch to drawing backgrounds with little animals in them. The faceless portrait gets tossed casually onto the bed. The longer Lena looks at it, the more it annoys her. She probably wants to throw it straight in the trash. But she knows your temper, so she holds back. The very next morning you're back at your stall. The underpass is nearly empty today. Even the watermelon vendor is absent. You set up your board and wait, ready to work. But you wait the entire morning. Looks like missing one day yesterday was enough to lose even the regulars. You start thinking maybe you should try a busier spot tomorrow somewhere with more foot traffic. Bianca shows up just as you're about to pack up. She's in her school uniform today, and on her wrist is a watch you don't recognize, but the way a student is dressed this well says everything about her family's money. Evan, you finally showed up this afternoon. I thought you'd moved to a new spot. Bianca seems genuinely happy to see you. Something came up at home yesterday, that's why I wasn't here. You explain, a little embarrassed. Good thing you're here, I was worried I'd miss my chance to get a portrait. Bianca smiles. Then she notices you packing up and asks if you're about to close and whether she should just come back tomorrow. You really can't bring yourself to make her come all the way out again for nothing. You check the time. Actually, I already sketched your outline yesterday. You pull out the paper and fix it to the board. Bianca blinks, then glances down at her watch, probably wondering if you recognize the brand and assume that's why you prepared the sketch in advance. Bianca's smile gets bigger, but the smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. This time, drawing from life, you finally get a clear look at the shape of her eyes. Upturned at the outer corners, just as you suspected. People say girls with eyes like that tend to draw a lot of attention and break a lot of hearts. You're no expert at reading people, but something about Bianca's eyes feels genuinely clear. Probably not the type to play games. It would be a waste if she were. The sketch is done in 5 minutes. You hand it over and start packing up. Bianca holds the drawing and studies it carefully. She compliments your technique, but also says there's feeling in it. You drew my eyes so clearly, like a pool of fresh water. She says it's the first time anyone has drawn her face this way. She seems genuinely pleased. Then she pulls up her payment app without hesitation. A notification chimes 10,000 yuan received. Your head snaps up. Bianca looks completely innocent. Did you add 3 extra zeros? You ask it, but even you don't believe it coming out of your mouth. When someone accidentally overpays, they're off by 1 zero at most. 3. No mistake, Bianca says with a smile. Your work is worth every bit of that. 10,000 is practically a bargain. You're flustered. Please don't. Bianca holds up her personal contact code with a slightly disappointed look. Fine, then add me on social media. Without thinking, you add her. 10,000 yuan. Who wouldn't want it? Especially when you're broke as a joke. But you can't accept it. Bianca is clearly just a kid. She'll regret it later. You add her and immediately transfer back the extra amount. Bianca smiles and waves her phone at you. I'll let you get off work. I'll bring some classmates to see you another time. Bye. After Bianca is gone, the more you think about it, the more something feels off. You're pretty sure you don't actually need to be contacts to process a refund. You frown, staring in the direction she walked. Something about her is strange. You're naturally cautious, and your struggling little household can't afford to be the target of any kind of scam. Meanwhile, Lena runs into Bianca on the street. Normally she'd never give a stranger a second glance, but Bianca's outfit is impossible to miss. Head to toe pink, even her hair. Lena spots her from a distance, head down, scrolling on her phone. Lena glances over and catches a glimpse of the chat screen. The profile picture is yours. It's the peak of summer, but a chill runs down Lena's spine. She stands frozen in place. Bianca walks further away, but Lena's fury keeps rising. She's already added you on social media, and Lena herself hasn't even done that yet. What gives? Lena thinks about how she's been too broke to even afford a phone, while that pink-haired girl has a 4 million yuan Patek Philippe on her wrist. That night, Lena grinds until the early hours again. She's running on pure willpower. She is saving up for a phone. Her coworkers are shaken by her intensity. This girl's going to outgrind us all into unemployment. Lena works like a machine that never needs rest. At midnight, she still wants to keep going. Lena, your boyfriend is here, someone calls from outside. Her coworkers erupt immediately. Look at you, working this late, go home. Leave some work for the rest of us. Lena, you are so lucky, let me see how good-looking this boyfriend is. Lena isn't letting any of them come with her. When she runs out, her female coworkers are laughing and calling her stingy behind her back. When you see her come out, you exhale. Lena, you broke your promise. She agreed to be home by 10 every night, and here it is midnight, and she had no intention of leaving. If you didn't know she was dead broke, you might actually start wondering where she'd been. You came all the way here in the middle of the night just to walk her home. Lena, who's been quietly fuming all afternoon, has no temper left for this. The sound of rushing water fills the bathroom. She showers herself clean, then takes her time coming out. You're already lying in bed, back turned, scrolling on your phone. Lena's expression shifts. She must be thinking about earlier today. She probably wonders if you really did just show up and mean nothing by it. Lena climbs onto the bed, probably trying to peek at your phone screen, but by the time she leans over, the screen has already gone dark. You're asleep. She didn't get to see anything, probably both disappointed and relieved. Your breathing is barely audible. So quiet it makes her uneasy. And then, almost against her own will, she extends one finger in front of your nose. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. A faint breath finally brushes against her fingertip. Only then does Lena relax. Good. You're still alive. A flicker of something confused and unnameable passes through her eyes. As a pure science person, Lena had never understood the romantics who chased after love and poetry. She used to think finding a boyfriend, getting married, having kids, building an ordinary life was enough to call a life complete. But bankruptcy changed everything. And here, in this cramped, worn-out, dirt-cheap room, something new takes root in her chest. It's like she finally understands what people spend their whole lives chasing. It's what makes a marriage worth having. And yet it is something far beyond marriage itself. The next day, you head to the nearest phone store. What's the cheapest model? This one, 341 yuan. Great for students or older family members. You wince a little. Sure, Lena's phone would mostly just be used to take calls and message, but the senior citizen edition? That feels harsh. Still, when you think about it, you really don't have a spare cent. Harsh it is. You buy it. Everything's set up. When Lena arrives later carrying a lunchbox, you're deep in a sketch. She does what she always does, sets the box down without a word and turns to leave. Hold on, Lena. I got you a phone. You stop her quickly. Lena freezes. The number and account are registered to my ID, so use it without worrying. If you want to install other apps, just use my ID number. I'll send it to you. Lena doesn't take it right away. Weren't you saving up for fall clothes? Why are you buying me a phone? You've already prepared your cover story. I don't want to keep losing track of you. And I'm done running across the city in the middle of the night to walk you home. The furrow in Lena's brow smooths out. I see, thank you. Go back to work now, keep earning. Seeing that she doesn't suspect a thing, you finally relax. Lena leaves, turning the phone over in her hands the whole way, until a girl steps directly into her path. Lena looks up and sees that unmistakable pink hair. She thinks of that contact added to your account. Lena's expression goes cold. Bianca stands with her arms crossed, throwing a cool glance at Lena's phone. You work yourself to death for him, and this is the phone he gets you? Lena catches it immediately. Isn't this girl supposed to be chasing Evan? So why is she talking down to her from behind? None of your business. Lena's voice is ice. Bianca drops the sweet act entirely. Her tone turns cutting. Even the woman who cleans our bathrooms at home wouldn't touch this model. Look how far you've fallen. Lena slips the phone into her pocket, eyes narrowing. Who exactly are you? She's clearly loaded, dressed head to toe in luxury. Bianca smiles. I've done my research. You work 2 jobs. You pull in over 10,000 yuan a month. Not a fortune, but enough that you shouldn't be living in a basement. He's dragging you down. Don't call me that, it's revolting. Lena, I slipped away to find you. My grandfather said that if you manage to rebuild your company, he'll let you come home. But with him holding you back, that day will never come. Lena's brow pulls tight. She steps around Bianca, not willing to waste another second. That boyfriend of yours is completely obsessed with money. He's been at that stall for just a few days and I'm the only contact he added. You know why. Just hearing added contact makes Lena's blood boil. She turns back. That's because you deliberately overpaid him to trick him into adding you. Don't think she didn't see it. She saw everything clearly. You don't need to add someone to refund them. You can just use a payment code. Don't be naive. He is absolutely money-driven. If you don't believe me, I'll message him right now and invite him to dinner tonight and we'll see if he shows up. She's already typing. Lena's fury ignites. My boyfriend is not yours to test. She reaches out to stop her, but Bianca sends it before she can. While the two of them are still arguing, a red exclamation mark appears in the chat. This person has enabled friend verification. You are not yet connected. Please send a greeting first to request access. Bianca stares at the screen, completely confused. You snuck into his phone and blocked me? She genuinely cannot believe any guy would cut off a catch like her. Who turns down someone rich and beautiful? Bianca stands there looking absolutely foolish. Lena steps forward and slaps her, leaving a red mark across her cheek. I don't care what your angle is, stay away from him. Don't make me say it twice. I'm trying to help you. Lena walks away, but the more she thinks about it, the stranger it all feels. It's not that surprising the pink-haired girl knew her name, but to have tracked down details about her current jobs, this precisely what does she actually want? Lena can't think of this many enemies. Turning it over in her mind, she makes a call. The person on the other end is clearly in the middle of something and sounds irritated. Hello, it's Lena. A crash of noise erupts on the other end, like someone just dropped their phone in shock. Lena, are you okay? Jenny is so worked up she's almost crying. We've been out of our minds, with worry. Where have you been all these months? Not a word. How are you? Something warm moves through Lena. Her voice softens. I'm fine. Jenny sniffles, her voice catching. Keishin and the others started a new venture. They already closed their first funding round. Chiu Wen went to work at a big tech company. Are you thinking about starting over? If you need me, I'll quit tomorrow and join you. Lena is quiet for a moment. Then she finally asks the question that's been sitting with her. Why do you trust me this much? Jenny laughs through her tears. Because I want to build something real with you. You're my idol, Lena. I know you're going to make it onto a world stage someday. Lena almost finds it absurd. Jenny's faith in her is blind. She has no idea how deep the debt goes. It would take multiple lifetimes to pay it off. But Lena doesn't crush her enthusiasm. Not planning anything yet? You keep at it. Then she remembers what just happened and asks, do you remember if we ever had a run-in with a pink-haired junior student or a daughter from some major business family last name B.I.? What kind of business empire has a daughter that edgy? I'm drawing a blank, let me check with the others. Bianca's words float back into Lena's mind. My grandfather said that if you rebuild your company, you can come home. Who is Bianca's grandfather? And what does come home even mean? Lena can't work it out. She decides it's ridiculous to lose sleep over a stranger. By the way, are you still with that guy? She means Evan. None of her friends ever liked him. They all thought Lena was too good for him, but the man never appreciated it. He didn't treat Lena well, and he'd always claimed they were the ones dragging Lena down. But disliking him is one thing. Jenny isn't bold enough to actually talk badly about him, in case the two of them end up married and she has to play nice. Lena knows exactly who she means. We're still together. Jenny has nothing left to say, but she's too smart to show it. He's actually not bad. He really loves you. Lena whispers the word, love. It sounds strange to her ears, almost foreign, but something warm moves through her chest, and yet it doesn't quite feel sweet. Later, scrolling through forums, the most common advice is to set up near tourist spots where the crowd is made up of visitors who actually have time to stop. You keep scrolling and find a short video with 50,000 likes. The drawings are honestly not that impressive. How does content like this even go viral? Curious, you click the profile. 300,000 followers. Every portrait looks like the person, but without any soul. Yet the comments are flooded with people begging for a portrait. The creator's bio says they take only 10 commissions a day, and the waitlist stretches out a full month. You immediately think, you've got this. You could knock out 50 portraits a day and do it better. Then your phone rings. It's Lena calling. Hello, is this Lena's boyfriend? Lena was in an accident on her way to work. Come quickly. The woman's voice on the line is frantic. The background is loud and chaotic. When you arrive, Lena is surrounded by a crowd. She's leaning against a post, a line of blood running from her brow down to her cheek. Her eyes are unfocused. Lena, it's Evan, can you hear me? Is he worried about her? Lena wants to open her eyes and look properly, but her eyelids are too heavy to lift. They stubbornly refuse to close all the way either. Your voice is urgent, full of genuine concern, nothing like the pure contempt and irritation from before. Evan, I've been working so hard to earn money, you'll stay, won't you? In the hospital room, you keep watch over her the entire day until evening. When Lena finally regains consciousness, she wakes up frowning, annoyed at her own body for failing her. Lena, how could you let this happen? Do you remember? The original novel recorded that the female lead was injured saving a little girl, pushing her out of the way before a heavy object struck her. When the original soul got the call, he screamed at her for bringing it on herself and didn't even take her to the hospital. It nearly killed her. And when she woke, the female lead received no comfort, only an attack. With a girlfriend like you, I must have the worst luck in 10 lifetimes. You useless broke leech, you can't make money, and now you're spending mine and costing me blood. Why don't you just die? That speech haunts the female lead in the darkest hours of her nights. You've read it so many times in the novel. Now the novel is real, and you're the one who's supposed to deliver those lines. Say them and you hurt Lena. Don't say them and you break from the original soul's character, which could make Lena suspicious. But Lena is already lowering her head first. I'm sorry. I'll recover as fast as I can and try not to fall behind on earning. Something breaks inside you instantly. Your eyes fill with nothing but heartache. She did nothing wrong. Why is she apologizing? Lena, you're being irresponsible. If you're injured, you can't earn you can't get hurt. Lena's dark eyes fix on yours like she's trying to see past them all the way into your chest. Something is different. So different from before. The words are still about earning money, but your face is full of something you can't hide. Pain. Guilt. Why does he feel that way? Don't cry, Evan. She's the one comforting you. You're trapped by the plot, forced to do things that go against every instinct you have. If you told her the truth, she'd think you were a lunatic escaped from a mental ward. Highly educated people are firm believers in logic and reason. She would never believe something this bizarre. You pick up the lunch boxes from the table. I'll go get you some food. The old man in the next bed suddenly turns to Lena. That young man, is he your boyfriend? Lena nods, and her gaze drifts to the old woman lying in the other bed. The elderly couple must be in their mid-70s. Their faces are calm and kind, the sort of people you warm to immediately. The old man chuckles. Lucky girl, that boyfriend of yours really cares. He hasn't taken his eyes off your IV drip all day. The moment it empties, he calls the nurse. Hasn't moved an inch since morning. The old man nods. That's right, I don't think he's even had lunch. You two came in at 11 this morning. Lena goes quiet. Then a message pops up from Jenny. Borrow money, pay back slowly. Jenny has been gently offering to help more than once. Lena is too proud to ask, but if she doesn't swallow that pride now, the one who suffers will be you. She can already picture it, you drawing through the night, day after day, scraping together her medical bills. Making you pay that price just to protect her ego is not worth it. The hospital room door swings open. You come back carrying a food tray. The hospital meal is decent. 2 meat dishes, 2 vegetable, and a lotus root and pork rib soup. But Lena frowns. Why is yours just as plain as hers? Your tray has the exact same dishes as hers. She knows your taste runs strong. You split apart your chopsticks. Just in case you get greedy and try to steal mine, I can't very well eat yours either. Lena goes quiet. The old man in the next bed sees right through it. He's eating the same bland food so you won't feel left out. You look completely caught off guard and quickly deflect. No, I just felt like something light today. How much is the medical bill? Lena asks. Over 10,000. You're already mentally running through where to find the money. Lena, are you the unluckiest person alive? You just got paid and this happens. Does the universe have it out for you specifically? Lena replies flatly. They say when you're broke, even drinking water gives you a stomachache. You have no words, both cursed and accurate. But don't worry. Lena picks up her phone and transfers money to you. I borrowed some. You stare at your phone. 20,000 yuan received. You're stunned. She actually borrowed money? Something is off. You know she never borrowed from anyone. Even when she was grinding 10 hours a day, she would just grit her teeth and push through alone. Someone that proud would never ask for help. But Lena explains. I have a junior from school, Jenny. You've met her. You remember Jenny. In the novel, she's described as Lena's former co-founder and close ally, the one who later becomes Lena's most trusted lieutenant after she reclaims her identity as the hidden princess of Beijing's elite. Lena has already taken the first step, and she doesn't seem troubled about borrowing more from Jenny either. Once I'm out, we're moving somewhere better. You're stunned. Isn't Lena supposed to be fiercely independent, never relying on anyone? And now she's borrowing from Jenny? You figure rich friends should be milked generously. Lena nods. Jenny is managing over 100,000 right now. Your brain short circuits. Of course, the big shot's best friend is a big shot too. That's some premium milking right there. But wait, are they really moving out of the basement the moment she's discharged? The book clearly states they live in that basement apartment for over a year, not leaving until after the female lead is sold to a nightclub. Is something about to change? We're moving, Lena says. I'll look at listings online in the next couple of days, something with a balcony, a 1-bedroom. Your face cycles through a dozen expressions. Sure, you say, but you don't believe it for a second. Everything in this fictional world is controlled by the author. Things don't shift this fast. Lena's medication includes a mild sedative, so she sleeps often. You work right there by her bed. Worried about missing when the drip runs out, you set alarms and check it every few minutes. Same through the night until a nurse finally takes pity on you. You can get in 4 drip alarm. It notifies you when it's done. You don't have to keep staring at it. Your broke person instinct kicks in immediately. You're already bracing for the price. That actually exists? How much? A little pricey. You tense up. You're mentally preparing for hundreds of yuan. If it's too much, you'll pass. 14 yuan. You're speechless. Medical staff have a very creative definition of pricey. With this little gadget in hand, you finally sleep a little better, though still waking up a few times through the night. In the morning, Lena opens her eyes and sees the dark circles under yours. Evan, are you feeling unwell? Lena feels something uncomfortable inside herself. She thinks back to all the times he called her worthless. You were right to say those things. He really wasn't good to you. He keeps dragging you down. In that brief moment, the thought of letting him go crosses her mind, but she can't make the words come. Hire a caregiver. You don't need to stay. You frown and groan. But a caregiver in Beijing costs hundreds a day. It would take me so many days just to earn that. Maybe I should just apply to be a caregiver here. I'm worried you're overexerting yourself and not sleeping properly. Lena can't stand watching you like this and finally speaks up. I can catch up on sleep during the day. The main issue is the cost. A caregiver for 1 week would be 2,000 yuan. Just thinking about it feels like the sky is caving in. Lena turns her face away, lips pressed tightly together. Meanwhile, at the office, a completely swamped Jenny suddenly gets a message from Lena. She opens it and nearly jumps out of her seat. You're finally back. Welcome back to the arena. I'll start looking for the right side jobs for you right now. Lena looks over at you, head down, still drawing. She suddenly thinks, maybe letting go of all that so-called pride isn't so bad. When the company collapsed, she spiraled. She convinced herself she wasn't cut out for the industry. Billions in debt had kept her paralyzed, afraid to go back. So what changed her mind? The weight of survival. Her boyfriend staying up through the night to watch her IV drip, selling portraits by day just to keep them both afloat. It's you, saying so easily that you can knock out dozens of drawings a day, even as your hand aches from drawing too long, and you never once say a word about it, just shake out your arm and keep going. Lena has to admit she was wrong. Her avoidance wasn't strength, it was weakness. She needs to face everything that came before, find the real reason behind the bankruptcy, push through it, and rise again. Then your phone rings. Thank you, I really can't thank you enough. You hang up. Lena asks what happened. You grin. I canceled the hotel room and the landlord worked it out with them and refunded the unused nights as cash, but today marks exactly 7 days, and when the landlord went to check, the room still smelled like cooking oil, so they made the guests pay for another 7 days. That's over 1,000 yuan transferred straight to us. Money falling from the sky. Lena laughs along with you. Evan, shouldn't you be outside working on your plan? Go rest for a bit, but it's only the faintest curve of a smile. Sitting and drawing all day is bad for your neck. Go downstairs and move around a little. You take your drawings and head down to find a delivery point. There's one not far from the hospital entrance. You walk over and start filling in the address when a familiar voice suddenly rings out. Evan, long time no see. You look up, pink hair. It's that junior from the Central Academy of Fine Arts, Bianca. You haven't seen her since. You moved your stall near the tourist area. You're puzzled. Long time no see. Are you just wandering around here? Bianca smiles and winks. My sister is sick. She's admitted in this building. She points upward. But I'm not going up to see her. She probably doesn't want to see me. You remember you have things to do. Then go ahead. I've got to get back up to my girlfriend, can't really talk. Don't go. I'd love to catch up. She follows as you walk. Catch up on what? We're barely that close. Then why did you block me? I tried messaging you and nothing went through. Internally, you think obviously because I thought you were running a scam, but out loud you just frown. What do you actually want? Bianca answers without missing a beat. Be with me. I have more money than your girlfriend. I can give you a comfortable life for as long as you live. You wouldn't need to sell portraits on the street to survive. If you say yes, I'll give you this watch worth 4 million yuan as a token of our commitment. You glance at the watch. You didn't recognize the brand, no wonder. 4 million. That really would cover a lifetime of comfort. You look up and tell her straight and serious. First, thank you for your feelings, but I have a girlfriend. If you still want to pursue this, I'd say that's not a rational choice, because there's a word for what that would make you, and it's not a flattering one. A homewrecker. Bianca's smile freezes solid. A homewrecker? He actually just said that to her? She has been adored her whole life, and now this man she finally chose to chase on her own is calling her a homewrecker? I'm beautiful and I'm rich and you feel absolutely nothing? You don't dare. Lena is the hidden princess of Beijing's elite. Once she reclaims her identity, she will stand among the most powerful names in the business world. People of every rank and background will bow their heads when they see her. Bianca's family money doesn't even come close. And in the future, the two of them, both Bianca and whoever she drags into this, will end up thrown into a mountain ditch to feed pigs by Lena herself. Thinking about it now, you look at Bianca with something close to pity. A girl this spoiled and delicate thrown into a remote mountain ditch? She probably wouldn't even outlast the baby pigs. Not interested? You sidestep her and walk on. Bianca stands there, disbelief written across her face, muttering to herself. What just happened? Does he already know Lena's real identity? No, that's impossible. It's been kept completely under wraps. Even Lena herself doesn't know. This won't do. Lena can't marry a nobody like this. Even if she returns to the family, she'll have no footing. This man is the obstacle. She has to find a way to break them apart. Back in the hospital room, you've just walked in to find a young doctor very enthusiastically asking Lena about her recovery. Maybe it's because his smile is a little too wide, but you can't help feeling the doctor's interest has nothing to do with medicine. You'll want to keep your diet light for the next few days to prevent the wound from getting inflamed. The doctor keeps up his warm stream of instructions, met with Lena's flat one-word responses, but he doesn't give up. He produces a pulse meter and says cheerfully, "Let me check your pulse just to make sure everything's normal." A question mark floats over your head. Isn't this a little obvious? You wait until the doctor leaves with his data, all smiles, before you walk to Lena's bedside, clearly unhappy. Lena had already noticed you come back, but unlike before you left, you're now heavy and bottled up, like something is burning just under the surface. Lena asks, "What happened downstairs? Did something happen?" "Nothing much. Ran into a former client. We chatted for a bit." She asks why you're unhappy. Your face stays stiff. "Lena, I'm not unhappy. I'm just angry." "What is he angry about?" Lena watches without giving anything away. She can see your anger isn't fading, it's rising, especially when the doctor comes back once more, records another reading and leaves. Inside your head you're fuming. Here he comes again 3 times in one morning. She just just had surgery and she's barely recovering, but he's recording her vitals this often? Could he be any more obvious? You're full of things you can't say, so you channel it into drawing, hard and fast. Your emotions are never hard to read. Right now you've deliberately shifted your drawing board, your whole body turned away from her. Lena starts wondering what she did wrong. You seem to be angry at her. The IV alarm goes off again. You press the call button. The young doctor walks in immediately. I'll take care of it. You slump back into your seat. Defeated. Fine. Come on in, then free help keeping an eye on Lena might as well enjoy the break. Over the course of the whole day, the young doctor visits 6 times. You spend the entire afternoon not saying a single word to Lena. Toward evening, Lena is still trying to figure out how to get you back in a good mood, face creased with worry. What's wrong, dear? Why aren't you resting? Lena glances at the old woman asleep in the next bed and lowers her voice. I think I upset my boyfriend, but I don't know what I did. If you did something wrong, apologize. Couples shouldn't let things fester overnight. Lena asks a question that's entirely new territory for her. Can I apologize if I don't even know what I did wrong? In over 20 years of life, she's been reliable and careful, rarely making mistakes. So she's rarely had to apologize to anyone, but an apology needs a reason, right? You can still apologize even without knowing. Say you'll do better, that alone may be enough to get him talking, and then he'll tell you what upset him. That's the old man's advice. Lena finds it oddly useful. She decides to try it when the moment is right. You come back carrying dinner, you set the bag down on the table beside her with absolutely no intention of opening it for her, and the little folding tray table isn't even unfolded. Does he want her to eat or not? Lena can't read this at all. Just as she's about to ask, you slap the call button. The young doctor comes in, swaps out the drip, notices her food has arrived, and casually says, "Let me open the tray table for you." Only now does Lena realize what's actually going on. You're still completely ignoring her. The young doctor sets the food on the tray table and even moves to open the lid and unwrap her chopsticks. Lena stops him. That's fine. The young doctor smiles. I'll head out, then just call for Dr. Allen if you need anything. Now it clicks for Lena every time you got upset today. It was right around Dr. Allen's visits. Is that it? But why would that be it? Lena doesn't have a name for this feeling. She only knows that because of it, her boyfriend has ignored her for an entire afternoon, hasn't even glanced at her once. Lena feels deeply uncomfortable. I'm sorry. The apology is directed at you. You keep your brush in hand, not turning around. Don't apologize, just eat. Lena says nothing. She doesn't eat either. She just stares at your back, heavy and unblinking. Her gaze is so intense you can feel it without looking, pressing against your back. Fine, let me feed you. Lena, let's just eat together. This is dinner for both of us. I'm not hungry. Lena immediately echoes you. Then I'm not hungry either. So you're holding yourself hostage, fine. You give in. Facing the quiet force of the hidden princess of Beijing's elite, you're on your feet in an instant. You open the food on the tray. Are you jealous? Lena asks it out of nowhere. Your hand actually trembles. Me? Jealous of what exactly? I've got nothing to be jealous of. Lena is a fictional character. Like a character in one of those games you've played, she doesn't actually exist. Who falls in love with a fictional character? You are jealous. Lena says it with certainty. Why aren't you saying anything? You're afraid of what might slip out if you open your mouth. So instead you say, I wasn't jealous, I just don't want to be cheated on. Lena feels wildly wronged by that accusation. I didn't cheat on you. You glare. You were flirting with him. You were definitely thinking about it. Either way, remember this, he is not your fated lover. Stop radiating that energy at the wrong people. You figured she'd promise to stop looking at other men. Instead, with the precision of a broken record, she says again, Evan, you really are jealous. Something snaps. I said I'm not, are you a robot? And then Lena leans in and kisses you. Her cool, clean scent rushes over you as bold and electric as ever. Your pupils widen. Your mind goes completely blank. Several seconds pass before she pulls back. And right at that moment, the young doctor walks in to take her temperature. You spin around instantly and drop back in front of your drawing board. Your food's been sitting there. You haven't eaten yet? It must be cold by now. This time, Lena cuts him off. It's fine, not cold. I don't have a fever. Then let me warm up the food for you. We have a microwave in the ward. The young doctor is far too eager, and now that Lena sees it clearly, she finally understands just how obvious he's been. She looks up and says, leaving your post during working hours to repeatedly visit a patient for non-medical reasons falls outside the standards of proper care. If this continues, I will be reporting it to the hospital.